Hi guys, welcome back to another video of Q4FY25 update. In this video, we are going to be talking about the jewelry sector, but specifically the B2B side of jewelry sector. Okay, so earlier in an individual video, we have done Sky Gold, we have done RBZ, but in today's video, we will be talking about Khazanchi, Ashapuri gold ornaments, and we will be doing a race analogy. We'll be doing a B2B with respect to all of the players. Khazanchi, Ashapuri gold ornaments, even RBZ we can add over here. Sky Gold. Okay, I think the only player we won't be discussing is Utsav because uska numbers abhi tak nahi aaya. I think by the time I upload the video, hopefully numbers have come. The result is yet to come today, okay? And I think today is Friday, the 30th May. It's supposed to come today, and whenever the result comes, I believe just by looking at the numbers, you will be able to position it in the race, in one of the positions. And Utsav also doesn't do any con call or so it should be quite easier for you guys. But for now, we'll be talking about Kazanchi, Ashapuri gold ornaments, RBZ as well as Sky Gold. Okay, first let me talk about Kazanchi and Ashapuri gold ornaments. We will talk about it individually. After that, what we will do, we will club all the four companies and put it throw them in a race, ठीक है? And जो तेजी से भागेगा वो उतना तेजी से हमें पैसा बना के देगा, ठीक है? So the first company over here is Kazanchi, ठीक है? So Kazanchi Jewellers, if you look at it, they are based from the south of India, specifically the state of Tamil Nadu. अगर आप इसका revenue का mix देखते हो, 90% comes from B2B and the 10% comes from B2C. Okay, and if you look further over here, they have one showroom in Chennai, okay, where they cater to B2C. They have a retail showroom over here, ठीक है? अगर आप इसका सेल्स देखते हो, बहुत तगड़ा है, बिकॉज इफ आई रिमेंबर इट राइट, इन द स्टार्टिंग ऑफ द ईयर दे टोल्ड दैट दे टारगेटिंग 25% इन टर्म्स ऑफ सेल्स ग्रोथ, एंड द एंड ऑफ द ईयर FY25 में पूरा साल का रेवेन्यू होगा 1000 करोड़. बट इट हैज बीन वे डिफरेंटली बिकॉज इन H1 ओनली, द फर्स्ट हाफ ऑफ द ईयर ओनली दे डिड दैट 1150 करोड़ और, ठीक है? सो ऑब्वियसली इट वॉज गिवन कि लाइक इसका जो गाइडेंस है, दे विल डू इट मल्टीफोल्ड ओनली, एंड दैट इज एक्जैक्टली व्हाट दे हैव डन. सेल्स इज अप बाय 116%. अगर आप पैट देखते हो, पैट इज अप बाय 64. यहाँ पे देयर इज वन थिंग, द पैट मार्जिन दे वर गाइडिंग फॉर 3.5% in that range, okay? And if you see, PAT margin for this year has been 2.5, a little bit hit in terms of margins they have taken. Even the EBITDA margin, there is no improvement. I believe it is because of the gold ka price, the fluctuating rate, or it could also be because as you know, in this year we had the duty cut, right? Import duty for gold was cut from 12 to 7. It could be because of that also, the margin has been a little bit affected over here or has been hampered, okay? Over here, if you look at the volume, see, whenever you're talking about a B2B business, especially when it is a gold ka business, you can't just look at the numbers directly, okay? Because if you look at B2C, वहाँ पे you have to look at store expansion. B2B में you have to look at कितना gold manufacture कर रहे हैं, what is the kgs of gold they are manufacturing or in production, और उनका जो job work जो कर रहे हैं, ठीक है? If you look at it over here, Khazanchi ka, if you look at it, volumes they have done is 2539 kgs of gold. Last time, same year they had done in FY24 1400 kg. So that is roughly a 68% in terms of volume growth they have got. So very stunning set of numbers, take care whatever they have done. The only thing over here is with Kazanchi is they told that they will open another B2C, another retail showroom in Chennai, a bada sa showroom, 10,000 square feet ka they wanted to open in Chennai, okay? And they told it will open in May, but it has been delayed right now for Q2, not in Q1 of FY26, but Q2 of FY26 mein hoga because they didn't get certain permissions or due to that, okay? And aage jaake probably in the next 3 years by FY28 or so, you should see that these people will be opening another 4 to 5 showrooms again in Chennai only. After FY28 they'll probably move other side. और एक चीज़ है यहाँ पे खजांची का, देयर इज नो गाइडेंस और एनीथिंग, वॉट एवर द गाइडेंस दे टेल इज लाइक हम 25% से ग्रो करेंगे. आई बिलीव दे विल बी एबल टू डू मोर देन दैट. एंड विद दिस शोरूम दैट इज कमिंग, द न्यू शोरूम दैट इज कमिंग इन चेन्नई, वो 10,000 स्क्वायर फीट वाला, द मिक्स इन टर्म्स ऑफ रेवेन्यू विल चेंज. सो गोइंग फॉरवर्ड दे वुड बी लाइक 20 to 25% यहाँ पे दे वुड बी B2C and 75 to 80% would be B2B. You see slowly, right? Every single body, whether it is RBC, whether it is Khazanchi, everybody is moving slowly from a B2B to a B2C for a very simple reason कि like B2C में थोड़ा margins are way higher compared to a B2B. B2B में margins, it varies between 3 to 5%. 5% if you have economies of scale and if you are really good in terms of managing and everything. Otherwise, it can even range somewhere to 2% also. I'm talking about PAT margin. In terms of B2C, it is a bit higher, obviously. if you look at even EBITDA margin also, it would be if in terms of B2B and B2C, B2C is way higher. It can range somewhere between 9 to 10%, unlike B2B, which is very razor thin, low single digit kind of margins you'll have to deal with it. Okay. The other company that we're doing is Ashapuri Gold Ornaments, the second company, and this has been a quite interesting over here in Q4 because for the first time they did con call, and I would say whatever opinions I had of this company in the past, it has been changed. Okay. So first of all, its business model. Let us understand the business model. Something is irritating my nose. I don't know like what it is. Like it feels like some dust has been going inside. But anyways, Ashapuri Gold Ornaments, if you look at it, again, these people are based out of Gujarat, Ahmedabad. उनका वहाँ पे एक manufacturing facility है, ठीक है? And what kind of jewelry that they do? Because if you look at Sky Gold started with this Turkish design, lightweight design, those kind of design. And if you look at Ashapuri specifically they started with this antique jewelry, temple jewelry, similar to what RBZ does. RBZ also does the same thing, na antique, आपका bridal jewelry and everything. So similarly, Ashapuri started with that antique festive wear, occasion jewelry, bridal jewelry आप बोलते हो, वहाँ पे वो पोल्की का necklace, bangles and all of this they started, ठीक है? They are a pure B2B company. Now इसका business model कैसा है? Like first what they do is, let's say they have a new design and everything, so they conceptualize it, उसका design करते हैं, उसका एक a couple of sample pieces बनाते हैं, then they go to all these exhibitions, ठीक है, and they participate in that. वहाँ पे they show to all the retailers के like ये देखो हमारे ये design है, they get orders like that and then they start manufacturing and dispatching it to the respective clients. या वरना क्या होते हैं, they do again the same thing, they do the design and everything, they have private meetings with their clients and they show the design, and once the order is confirmed it goes into manufacturing on a bulk scale and obviously it goes into dispatch over here, ठीक है? So this is the business model. Interesting चीज यहाँ पे ये है कि like I believe this is the only Ashapuri Gold Ornaments and probably Utsav also, but I can't comment on Utsav because God knows उसका result क्या है, and Utsav also doesn't do PPT या con call, कुछ नहीं, एक सिर्फ result document है and you have to infer everything from there. And I believe when you look at the entire यहाँ पे B2B का the race, we have Sky Gold, we have RBZ, we have Kazanchi, or Utsav and Ashapuri Gold Ornaments, and the king, the bap of this B2B industry in the listed space is Sky Gold. Untouchable, king, ruling everything, reign, whatever you want to call it, that is the number one, okay? That is Sky Gold. And all of these four players, now they, in order for them, I don't even think they are in a level where they can even compete with Sky Gold. And anybody who can, I would say, at least try, okay? At least try or has a probability or has a chance to compete, in everything, whether it is in terms of, maybe not in terms of scale, yes, it would take them a lot more time for Ashapuri Gold Ornaments, but in terms of everything, I think they have a probability over here, to compete in terms of neck to neck, similar to like what V2 retail and bazaar style retail का हो रहा था पहले. Similarly they can do, and with Ashapuri थोड़ा valuation का comfort है. But coming back over here to the business model, यहाँ पे they are a pure B2B, ठीक है? Unlike अगर आपका Khazanchi देखो, RBZ देखो, which is going a little bit into B2C, these people are pure B2B, सिर्फ design करके manufacturing करके बेचता है. There is no trading of gold, nothing of that sort, ठीक है? Now over here what is interesting is, like I told you, इसका जो again volume growth, if you look at first I give you the numbers of sales, okay? Sales number, if you look at it, the sales grew by 90% on a year-on-year basis. मैं पूरा साल का बता रही हूँ. And if you look at PAT grew by 56 to 60% in that range, ठीक है? अगर आप volume growth देखते हो, volume growth was 273 kgs last time for the full year, and this time it is 440 kgs, ठीक है? So the volume growth is also roughly 61%. वहाँ पे Sky Gold का was how much Sky Gold did? They were doing 300 kgs per month, and now उसका I think Sky Gold का volume growth was 50%, and here it is 61% for Ashapuri, and for Kazanchi also it was in the same range, ठीक है? Now over here if you look at Ashapuri, उनका जो अभी का capacity है, so the land that they have is around 1 point, they can go up to 1 to 1.5 tons का space है, but as of now the production capacity is only for 500 kgs, ठीक है? And with this they have already reached, like I told you, 440 kgs they have reached 93% of capacity utilization. Bold Rai, in the next coming up to 2 or 3 months, they will increase the capacity by 50%, so they will take the total production will be up to 750 kgs, ठीक है? And let's say if in the upcoming quarters, if the order book is really strong, if everything is going hunky dory, they can even increase the production capacity to 1 ton. Okay, almost double the production capacity. Okay, why they're telling it is because यहाँ पे the same thing like the demand is great and everything. But other than that, other than this capacity utilization, everything, what they're also doing is they're diversifying their product, because earlier, like I told you, they were only into this antique temple wear jewelry. Now अभी gold में क्या हुआ, you saw right from Q3 to Q4 when we've seen the gold का price rose by 30%, and especially in Q1 का months, especially after Akshaya Tritiya, there is no festivity. ठीक है, Q4 got saved because Akshaya Tritiya, but what about Q1? Q1 में तो कुछ festivity है नहीं, which means what, the most of the volume of the purchase, you know, the purchase जिसका volume growth है, it should come from daily wear jewelers. ठीक है, and daily wear jewelers में क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पे, whoever is want to purchasing this daily wear का jewelry, because of this increase in price, you know, it has been a pinch point for them. So instead of, you know, maybe going for a 24 carat का gold, they are going for this 22 carat, 18 carat gold, lightweight jewelry में जा रहे हैं. So these people, what they have done is, in the last couple of years, they have launched 4 types of collection: Arjesh, Mani, Kavish and Anaya. ठीक है, so this Arjesh and Mani is like is for the lightweight jewelry, so that is only lightweight designs. So now what they're doing is, you know, let's say if tomorrow the demand is shifting, you know, from, let's say, this antique jewelry or anything, they've got that karigars, they've got the artisans, they've got the manufacturing facility, you know, to, and also the design, in order to shift to the lightweight jewelry also. So in that way they are safe. So can you see over here, and they're telling also, like, you know, guidance for FY26 that they can grow around say by 50%. Now that should obviously now, because they're also increasing the capacity by 50% over here, so that should come. And why are they so confident also over here, you know, because ये जो, like I told you, the space that they have, right, it's already done. It would take them probably 2 to 3 weeks to put up the entire facility and start the production also. ठीक है, so even that shouldn't be a problem. So Ashapuri यहाँ पे अगर आप देख सकते हो, growth है, leverage, operating leverage is a little bit missing over here. The other thing is capex कर रहा है, you know, they're doing all the capacity that is required over here, increasing the capex. So everything that you would require from a B2B manufacturer, they are doing it. Volume growth भी है. ठीक है, now when you look at this, now आपको चारों का खेल समझ में आ गया. You understood Khazanchi, what they're doing, what the status is like. Ashapuri you understood, you know what already Sky Gold has been doing, right? We discussed it yesterday. RBZ also we know what it is doing and what it is up to in FY26. ठीक है, now think about this. If you look at the race, now we have Sky Gold. ठीक है, Sky Gold is a reigning king. ठीक है, 100% से grow कर रहे हैं. अगले साल का भी guidance है 50%. They were telling they will do 5,500 crores in revenue, and right now they are doing 400 kgs per month. So if you look at the entire year, roughly they did 4,000 kgs of gold. ठीक है, and next from FY26 they are planning per month का होगा around 600 kgs per month. I mean, I don't know if you guys can understand the scale over here. Sky Gold कर रहे हैं 4,000 पूरा साल का, आशापुरी कर रहे हैं 440 kgs पूरा साल का. The difference in terms of scale is huge, right? Like 4,000 kgs per year and 440 kgs per year. ज़मीन आसमान का फर्क है यहाँ पे. ठीक है, and then we have Kazanchi that is doing around 2,400 kgs per year. So that is literally half of Sky Gold in terms of capacity. Then we have Utsav. We do not know what the status is like of Utsav. RBZ का also I think somewhere around 1,600-1,500 kgs of gold they are doing, you know, in a year. ठीक है, now अगर आप रेस में बात करते हो, right, one is obviously Sky Gold, that is there. ठीक है, think of Sky Gold and see, I think with the one thing I will really appreciate about Sky Gold over here is, see, you might have seen it now. I think all of you have been there alive, you know, for the last 1 year. You have seen for the last 1 year how the PE rating happened in the stock. And tell me one thing, what has happened beautifully over here is the execution by the management, nothing else. Forget about the gold, forget about the capex, it's the pure execution by those 3 Chauhan brothers. Salute to those 3 guys, absolutely crazy. Because, you know, for a stock to re-rate, right, the execution should be flawless. Okay, you need to have sales growth, ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज होना चाहिए, कैपेसिटी होना चाहिए, गाइडेंस दो और गाइडेंस को ओवर एक्सीड करके भी करो. ठीक है, ऑल ऑफ दिस वाज डन एग्जैक्टली बाय देम. ओके, यू माइट हियर द डॉग्स बार्किंग, but again I can't do anything. So that was exactly done by them, right? प्योर ब्रिलियंट एग्जीक्यूशन, ठीक है. नाउ सी थिंक अबाउट इट. मैं वैल्यूएशन करना, आई विल टॉक अबाउट इट इन अ डिफरेंट वे. डोंट एक्सपेक्ट अ ट्रेडिशनल थिंग कि लाइक यहाँ पे आके इन माई चैनल की लाइक मैं इन टर्म्स ऑफ फॉरवर्ड पी, ईवी बाय बिट, ऑल ऑफ दैट कैलकुलेशन. Think about it in this race. I will give a little bit of more like a cricket analogy. I don't know if it would make sense or not. I'm also not a big cricket fanatic. The only time I'm watching cricket is when RCB is playing, okay? But anyways, so think about Sky Gold is like that Sachin Tendulkar in his 30s, ठीक है? Great, he's in his peak performance चल रहा है Sachin Tendulkar का भी, ठीक है? Everything is great and everything he's there is a lot of vision, there is a lot of bright future for him, ठीक है? But you also know आगे जाके Sachin Tendulkar if he's 30, he's got very few years to play. So आगे जाके there is a possibility as and when his age becomes more, उसका performance थोड़ा कम होता ही जाएगा. Sky Gold का भी क्या है, जितना उसका बेस बढ़ेगा उतना उसका थोड़ा because of that same base effect थोड़ा there is a possibility that pace of the growth that is there can slow down, ठीक है. But still Sachin Tendulkar, like I told you how Sachin Tendulkar in his 30s is the king of cricket, he is a god of cricket. Similarly right now Sky Gold is in its peak, god of B2B manufacturing. There is nobody that can come across it. Then now we have the other 4 players, that is Ashapuri, Utsav, Khazanchi and RBZ, who can become the next Sachin, who can become the next next Sky Gold. But in order for these people to do it, imagine all these 4 players are like budding aspirational cricketers. They are like Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, I don't know, add some 2 other names, okay? They are like that in their 16, 17 years old, okay? Now they can become the next Sachin, they can become the next all these Ashapuri and everything can become the next Sachin. They are like that Virat Kohli in right now. But in order for them to become, what they have to do, execution होना चाहिए. Because think about it, right? Let's say if I'm an IPL team, ठीक है, and I need to buy cricket players right now, and let's say imagine I have Sachin in his 30s, ठीक है, and if I will get him because Sachin has proved that he's been playing cricket really well, and everything. So similarly, if it's my portfolio, क्या होगा? I will add Sky Gold because Sky Gold over the period of time क्या हुआ? Sky Gold का shareholders में confidence है, right? Because they have executed perfectly, P का re-rating हो रहा है, आगे जाके भी management का इतना confidence है and everything that is it. Now for Sky Gold का shareholders to leave Sky Gold and come, there has to be something lucrative. Similarly, like IPL में अगर मेरा team है, if I have to leave Sachin and out of my team, ठीक है, I have to sell him off to other team and I need to get some other team and replace Sachin, with another player. Let's say if I have to replace Sachin with some new player, then what will happen? That player has to do something better than Sachin for me to replace him, na? Otherwise what is the point? So similarly over here, these 4 players must do something better. Now if you look at RBC का क्या problem है? They see, I'll tell you one thing. I know a lot of people over here क्या बोलते हैं, when I did the RBC का video, you were like, oh, the management knows what to do better. Even I agree, ठीक है, I understand. B2C में margins better है, they want to shift for it. All kudos for them, well and good. What gave me the ick in RBZ is when the entire this jewelry space started going 2.5 years ago, and when RBZ came into IPO, and I've been tracking this company since the time of IPO, okay? You can read my post on Twitter, and I've literally tracked every single management interview that is there out there, and the entire narrative when RBZ came to IPO was, if you look at the B2C players, if you look at the organized market share of B2C, organized market share is 40%, okay, and unorganized is 60%. So it is, if a new organized player is coming, it becomes very hard for that new player to penetrate into that organized B2C का market, ठीक है, because already वहाँ पे कल्याण है, Titan है, XYZ players are there, it becomes hard. But if you look at the B2B organized jewelers, B2B में it is hardly 11%. So कहाँ पे it is easy to gain market share in a B2B, because B2C में कितना है organized share 40, B2B में कितना है only 11%. Think about it, ठीक है. So that is why they told कि like we are focusing on more on B2B and everything. But you've seen, right? अभी बोल रहे B2C कर रहे हैं. So it is nowhere in comparison with Sky Gold, because if I want to play a B2B, I need a complete B2B game. RBC का क्या हो रहा है? आगे जाके they're opening up another 2 showrooms over here in Gujarat. So the B2C mix will become higher and higher, and the B2B mix will become lower. Now you tell me, अगर मुझे B2C खेलना ही है, मैं कल्याण या गदगिल के साथ ना खेलूँ वहाँ पे, वो तो एक तो 40% बोल रहे, दूसरा बोल रहे 50% का सेल्स ग्रोथ. RBC का गाइडेंस क्या है? 40%, एंड दैट टू इंक्लूडिंग द B2B. भाई मैं बीच का खेल क्यों खेलूँ? B2C का खेलना है तो मैं PN गदगिल एंड कल्याण ही खेलती, राइट? थिंक अबाउट इट लॉजिकली, ठीक है. सो ऑब्वियसली RBC ओवर हियर कम्स लास्ट इन द स्पेस, गोज आउट ऑल्सो. अगर आप ग्रोथ रेट भी देखते हो इन टर्म्स ऑफ स्काई गोल्ड, इन टर्म्स ऑफ RBC, इन टर्म्स ऑफ Kazanchi also, because Kazanchi का ग्रोथ रेट कितना था? Kazanchi का सेल्स ग्रोथ is 116%. RBC I believe was around 60 or 70% का growth rate, right? So obviously Sky Gold was 103, Khazanchi 116, Ashapuri 93, RBZ around 60 to 70%. So obviously it comes in the fourth place because of that. Now comes Kazanchi. Kazanchi का भी वही सीन है, 90% B2B था. Somehow at least one player था who was giving a competition to Sky Gold. Now even they are also going into B2C. कि like ठीक है, I will open 5 showrooms in Chennai and everything. Even ठीक है, I understand वो भी आगे जाके probably in the 3 years of time, if they do open that 4 to 5 showrooms in Chennai, right? What is going to happen? They will also उसका mix भी from 90% B2B will go to will go to like a 60-70% B2B and B2C, right? At the end of the day, that will also happen. Again, not a direct competition to Sky Gold again, okay? I don't think if they are, because see what will happen is now if they're opening all these showrooms in Chennai, the focus is going to be over there, right? It is not going to be increase the production capacity with B2B, try and compete, because if your focus is over there, then it will be very hard for you to scale your production in B2B, right? Like आप कितना ही करोगे? ठीक है, अगर आपका शायद अभी 2 टन है, is there a possibility you will take Kazanchi का 2 ton to 4 ton to 6 ton like what Sky Gold is doing right now? FY27 में they will reach 1 ton production. After that they're targeting 4.5 tons per month. Can they be able to? So you understand where I'm getting, right? In order to beat Sky Gold, you have to at least compete with them in order to reach their scale. So you see over here RBC and Kazanchi, I don't think they can compete with Sky Gold because they might never reach that scale that Sky Gold is is planning to reach, or at least what Sky Gold ka scale is right now. I don't think they can ever compete with that, right? Because they are shifting their focus to somewhere else. So they go out of the race, right? You can place RBC 4th, Khazanchi 3rd. Now there comes a chotu player, which is Ashapuri Gold Ornaments, which is like a chota pataka, chota bomb. Okay, think about it. What Sky Gold has done in the last 1 year, 1.5 year, right? What they have done, Ashapuri stands. Just make sure you're focusing on the words that I'm using. They stand a chance to compete with Sky Gold if they can execute and provide the scale what Sky Gold has done, okay? Because what they are doing, sales growth hai, okay? They have to work a little bit in terms of margin and operating leverage. That can come as the economies of scales improve, okay? If this happens, their ROE can improve because here you have pure volume growth hai. Volume growth kahan se aane wali? When they increase their production capacity. Are they doing it? Yes. Abhi 500 kg se they planning to increase the capacity by 750 kgs. Volume growth होने वाले, volume growth can be 50% over here. They stand a chance. Now, why do I tell stand a chance over here is, if you understand Sky Gold ka, I'm not telling this is, I mean the only way Ashapuri can win against Sky Gold is, Sky Gold needs to perform bad. आगे जाके Sky Gold का pace should reduce. I'm not telling Sky Gold ka pace has reduced, don't get me wrong. I'm telling the only way Ashapuri can win against Sky Gold is Sky Gold has to reduce its pace of growth going forward, and that can happen if let's say uska base बढ़ता गया, or maybe not, because looking at the way Chauhan brothers are like executing the business, they are like 3 tigers, like how in equity research program you have both me and Rajoshi, like that in Sky Gold there are 3 people. Imagine like 3 Rajoshis or 3 Prernas in one team, right? So it's like that. So going forward, let's say if they increase the guidance and do everything, then I don't think Ashapuri Gold Ornaments has a chance. So let's say going forward, आगे जाके base बढ़ता है Sky Gold का, and वहाँ पे if they slow down over there because of the base, उनका pace of growth कम होता है, then what happens? उनका base बढ़ा है, growth is less, and क्या होते हैं? Valuation becomes more, it becomes very hard for the stock to make money. On the other hand, what is Ashapuri का यहाँ पे advantage? Base is very small, ठीक है? So they are able to execute, right? उसका base के वजह से उसको high growth मिल सकता है. They will be able to compete. Now let's put it in a cricket analogy, ठीक है? I have a team, ठीक है? Let's say I have RCB का team, ठीक है? Now I have Sachin in my team, ठीक है? And Sachin is let's say now 32, 35 years of age, ठीक है? Now do you really think as an RCB, can I as a team, do you really think I can win with like a 35-year-old, 36-year-old? It becomes very hard, right? Yes, it's great, he's made so much, let's say he's made name for the team, he's really performed well. But आगे जाके can he perform with the same way? Can Sachin perform at 35 years old the same way he performed at 25? No. Now क्या होगा? But the newcomer, the 25-year-old player that is there, how can he become the next Sachin if he starts playing really well? Like the same way, okay? Like how we have Sachin and Virat Kohli right now. Like, Virat Kohli is Virat Kohli because of the way he executed, okay? So that is the thing. Ashapuri Gold Ornaments can become sky gold if they are able to execute and get the skill. That is the only thing. Execution mein problem aa gaya na, then it is over. So I believe Ashapuri, where it is right now, it has a 50% chance, to do well, but also, not do well. It can become the next sky gold if they continue to execute really well, but also it can become the next RBZ if they lose focus and go idhar bhatak gaya to. So it's like that. It's like a new budding player in your team, in the Indian cricket team ya koi bhi IPL team, theek hai, let's say a new 18-year-old Yashasvi Jaiswal. It's like that. They have potential, yes, but can they be the next Virat Kohli? Can they be the next Sachin? हमें ट्रैक करके देखना पड़ेगा. Just like how you track a cricket player's journey, you have to track a company and see if they can do it or not. But really, I'll tell you, I'm very surprised with Ashapuri ka progress, because the first time I tracked this, I believe it was in Q2 or Q1, when they started doing really well this year, and that time I really didn't have a bit of a positive opinion, I can tell you on that, and I did change my stance after listening, with the way they conducted themselves in the Q4 call and the clarity with which they spoke and everything. I really give a salute to that, whoever the founder is over here or whoever was on that call. Really good. I would say right now, if you have to align the B2B race, it's sky gold. Obviously, the growth rate is great. Not only the growth rate, aage jaake the clarity that what we have from the management is great. Then we have Ashapuri, because Ashapuri ka bhi agar aap dekhte ho, growth rate is 92%. And FY26 ka, see, whenever you're putting somebody in race, it's not about what just you have done in this quarter, but aage jaake aapka kya vision hai, that matters. Even if you look at Ashapuri kya hai, 92% ka growth engine hai, aage jaake wo bol rahe 50% se minimum we will be able to grow. Khazanchi on the other hand, they're targeting a 25% growth rate for the upcoming year. It could be more than that also, again, because the management of Kazanchi is always very conservative over here. And then we have RBZ, whose guidance for the upcoming year is 35 to 40%. Okay? So that is the range. Aap Utsav ka, once the Utsav ka result comes out today or tonight, whenever it comes out, you can place them somewhere in between. I think you will be able to do that. Okay? So that's it about the B2B. What is that? B2B manufacturing or the B2B jewelry of Q4FY25. I do not know if I made sense, by comparing it with the cricket thing and everything, because I have it in my head, but I don't know what is there in my head when I talk and I'm explaining to some other person. If I'm making sense, I believe it's easy for you to understand what is happening, but it is a completely different skill set when you are trying to, whatever is there in your head, making what is there in your head to understand to the other person. Okay? So that's that. Okay? And by the way, just a last thing, as you all know, we're conducting a live workshop on June 7th. That is in the upcoming week, next Saturday, right? And I'm going to put the link in the description box below for the workshop. Register for that workshop. As you know, the workshop, we are going to be discussing about portfolio management. How do you add a stock in the portfolio? How do you cut a stock? What do I have in my portfolio? What are the mistakes I've done? Which are the stocks did I cut? Which are the stocks did I add post Q4? What made me add the stocks? What made me increase my allocation? Everything will be discussed in that workshop, and I can't wait to see you guys live on 7th. Bye.